Hey everybody, Heather here. Sorry, I was like, I won't start the video off being annoying, and I already did. But it's been a while since I've posted a live video on this page, and so I figured that now is the time. And I wanted to hop on and talk about New Year's resolutions. Right? It's that time of the year for New Year's resolutions. What are you gonna do? How are you going to change your life in 2019, right? And so I just want to talk about a nice way to go about it, a way that I think will be really beneficial, and I'd love to actually take you through a little bit of an exercise to help you envision what you want your 2019 to look like in every way. The thing about resolutions is that they can become terrible. You know what I mean? It can become you shoulds. You just start shoulding all over yourself. Well, I should do this and I should do that. And, I want to lose weight. So I'm going to, not have any sugar, not have any chocolate and this and that. Right. And so then what? You're starting your new year off depriving yourself, which is terrible. Right. And that doesn't last because it's terrible. Or it just doesn't feel good because it's just a bunch of shoulds, right? And so instead of approaching it from that way, I actually want to invite you to approach it from a place of, what do you actually want? What do you actually want to be experiencing? Right? Not what you should be doing because someone told you should be doing this, or society tells you should be doing that, right? But what do you actually want to be experiencing in your health, in your life, whatever it is? What do you actually want? Have you ever sat down and actually asked yourself that? Because I didn't until someone did it with me recently. And I was like, damn, that's amazing. Right? So this is the time. We're going to do that. We're going to sit down and figure out what you actually want to be experiencing for every area of your life so that you can craft this beautiful vision for your 2019. And then also, how can you start applying some of these things, these mental... what's the word I'm looking for? How are you going to approach these things so that you can actually start working your way there now rather than waiting until January 1st, right? Because you might as well start now. So if you want, go ahead and get out a sheet of paper and a pen, or maybe you want to just take notes on your phone or your computer or whatever feels good to you. I see that someone is watching. Peter Lynch, hey! So go ahead and just get however you want to take notes that feels good to you. And let's just do a quick little ditty to figure out what it is that you actually want, okay? So we're going to go by categories here, right? So there are like 5 major areas of your life where if one is out of whack, probably one of the other ones is out of whack. So let's figure out how to get them all in alignment so that you can feel really good in every area of your life, right? So go ahead and mark space number 1, health. So go ahead and write the word health, and then take a minute to figure out what you actually want to be experiencing with your health. This isn't what you should be doing, right? What do you want to be experiencing in your health? What do you want to feel? So go ahead and figure that out. Take a couple minutes to just brainstorm. And then from there, I want you to ask yourself, what's one thing that I could start doing that will take me 1% closer to experiencing that? What would I like to be experiencing with my health? And then what's one thing that I can shift, a minor shift, so that I can start getting that much closer to what I want to be experiencing with my health, right? And remember, there's no wrong answers here. This is completely up to you because humans, we are much wiser than we give ourselves credit for. And your intuition is actually very powerful, and you do have all the answers within you, right? So if you're like, but I don't know, you do know. So just trust yourself. So what do you want to be experiencing with your health? And then that's what's one thing that you could shift to take yourself one step closer to experiencing that. Okay, so health is category number 1. Category number 2 is career. What would you like to be experiencing with your career? What do you actually want to be experiencing with your career? And then what is one thing you can start applying to take you that much closer to experiencing that? Hey, Jean. Thanks for watching. So what would you like to be experiencing with your career? And what's one thing you might shift in order to take you one step closer? Right? And we're not trying to solve all of your problems right here, right now. This is just simply what is one tiny thing that I could start doing. Nothing huge and overwhelming. What's one tiny step that I could make to just make my experience with this a little more enjoyable, a little more fulfilling, whatever it is you want to be experiencing, right? And then category 3 ties kind of along with career, finances. What would you like to be experiencing with your finances? What would you like? What do you want? Right? There's no wrong answer. Seriously, ask yourself, what do you want? What would make you feel really good around your finances? Here's my baby poop face mug. My sister made me this mug and I love drinking out of it because it has my niece and nephew's baby poop faces on it. I love it. Anyway, next. So we've got health, career, finances. Next, relationships. What would you like to be experiencing with your relationships? And that doesn't have to mean romantic relationships. It can, but it doesn't have to. It can be friendships. It can be your family. Any kind of relationships. What would you like to be experiencing? What would make you feel really good? And then what is one thing that you might put in place so that you can start experiencing that? And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to pause if you need more time. The final category is that which is greater. So that can look like whatever resonates with you, whether that is God, source energy, nature, spirituality, any of those things, whatever resonates with you, universe. What would you like to be experiencing with that which is greater in the new year? Your connectedness, right? What do you connect to? And what's one thing you can do to help yourself feel more connected in the new year to your spirituality? Because believe it or not, that connectedness is very important to your health and your life. So what would you like to be experiencing? And then what is one thing that you might shift so that you can start experiencing that? Or take you 1% closer to experiencing that? So we've got health, career, finances, relationships, and spirituality. Okay? So, you've picked one thing for each category that might make a difference in your new year. And now I want you to kind of think ahead, maybe close your eyes, and think ahead to maybe this time next year, right? So December 18th, 2019. Put yourself in that place. You have followed through with each of these things consistently for a year. Doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. You've just followed through with the one thing from each category consistently. And really step into that and feel into that in your body. How does that feel? You've followed through consistently for a year. You've proactively taken small steps to create a life that you want. A life that brings you joy, brings you fulfillment, gives you health, happiness. And how does that feel? And what does that future version of you who has showed up consistently for themselves, what do they know to be true about themselves? What do they believe about themselves so that they are able to show up for themselves in this way, consistently following through, feeling really good, creating a life, health that they want? Really ask yourself that. How does this future me show up for themselves, and what do they know to be true about themselves that enables them to show up in this empowered way? Now, how can you bring that knowing, that belief, into the you here now? How can you start showing up for yourself in that way from this very moment? Because what's the point of waiting until January 1st, 2019, right? Why not start showing up for yourself in an empowered way right now? Why not pick one of those things, one of those small shifts that will end up making a big difference to your health, to your life, and start now? Bring that knowing from the future you into the you here now. What do you believe about yourself? What do you know to be true about yourself? How can you start showing up for yourself in new, powerful ways starting right now? What do you want to be experiencing? Dump the shoulds. There are no shoulds from this point forward. From now, moving into 2019, there's no shoulds. You should be doing this. Because when you should all over yourself, that's not fun. It doesn't feel good, right? It's like someone's running around behind you like this. And then does that ever make you want to actually do anything and follow through with anything? No. When we put those shoulds all over ourselves, that's when we start rebelling against ourselves. We start self-sabotaging, right? We rebel against the things that we actually know are best for us because it doesn't feel good to always be doing this to ourselves, right? So drop it and ask yourself, what do you want? What do I want to be experiencing, and how can I start showing up for myself in that way right now? Minor shifts. And I also want to point out that for each thing, I said, what's one thing you can do? What's one thing you can shift to make a difference? Because a lot of the time, we want to do everything all at once, right? Especially when it comes to health. I mean, how many of you have your New Year's resolution has been to lose weight? And so that means cutting out this, cutting out that, no more sugar, no more carbs, cutting out booze, only having salads for lunch. I'm gonna count my calories. I'm gonna go to the gym 6 days a week. You know, I'm gonna do this and that and this and that. And we try to do everything all at once because we wanna see instant results. We want that instant gratification, right? But then we tend to bite off more than we can chew, and it feels terrible. And it's like we're trying to turn our lives completely upside down, and that never feels good. And that is not sustainable. Because when it doesn't feel good, you're not going to be motivated to follow through with it. It's going to feel like too much. It's going to feel overwhelming. It's going to feel stressful. It's going to feel terrible. And then what do? We stop. We just stop altogether. And then there's another resolution where nothing ever came of it, right? So the trick is to pick one, maybe two small things, tiny things that you can shift so that it actually feels good to do them. What are some tiny things that you can do that actually feel good to you? Because when it feels good, you'll actually follow through with it, right? And then the more you follow through with things, the better you feel, and then you start adding on more. Instead of taking everything all at once and trying to do all the things, you do one or two things until they feel good to you. You congratulate yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm actually following through. This is awesome. I feel so good. Now I can start doing more, right? And then the more you follow through, the more it becomes a habit. And then you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to try because it's just your habit. It's a lifestyle, right? And yes, making these tiny shifts may take longer. It's not some quick fix. It's not the magic pill, right? But guess what? It lasts. It lasts forever. Which sounds way better than trying to do all the things all at once for some huge miraculous change, this big healing, this whatever, and then it's too much so that you can't follow through with it, so then you don't do anything, right? The trick is to pick one or two small shifts that feel good for you. Stick with those, start there, and start now. Don't wait. There's no purpose in waiting, right? And this does not mean deprivation either. That doesn't mean, okay, deprive yourself of all sweets for the rest of the year. No. Pick something that feels good to you and start there. Right? And then keep working towards what you want to be experiencing in 2019. How can you show up for yourself and be that future you? What do you believe about yourself to be true? How can you show up for yourself in a powerful way and create the life that you want? You do have that power. The thing is, no one ever asks you what you want, right? What do you actually want? So give yourself that space to think about it and decide, and then figure out how you want to show up for yourself so that you can start experiencing that now. Okay? I also wanted to say, around this whole trying to do all the things that gets really overwhelming, if you feel like that's you and you're already like, okay, come January, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and this. Let's drop that. I'm actually offering free 20-minute calls to anyone who's feeling super overwhelmed by your goals in the new year. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Sorry if I'm seeing your comments a little delayed here, but hey, thanks for tuning in. So I'm offering free 20-minute calls to anyone that's feeling overwhelmed by their goals in the new year, right? Or if you don't even know where to start, like this is the perfect place to start. It's completely free, no obligation, 20-minute call. Let's figure out how to keep it simple. Keep it simple for the new year, and you will notice a profound difference. Is that the right word? It'll be super different than anything you've ever done before, right? So see what it's like to work with a coach, figure out how to keep things simple for your life, create a plan moving forward that's actually going to feel good to you instead of feeling overwhelming and terrible, right? So I'm going to put my scheduling link for that in the comments. If that sounds interesting to you, book in. Now's the time. I'm going to be offering those until probably halfway into January, and then that'll go away. So if you're interested, go ahead and book now. I'll put the link in the comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this exercise was useful to you. I would love for some feedback. So whether you've done it already or you're doing it later, you're watching the replay, whatever, please comment. Let me know what comes up for you. What are some things you want to start shifting and how you can start doing it right now, because don't wait. Yeah? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll talk to you really soon.